we've grown enormously in size. Now, I'm just going to give you a few statistics. Brazil went from 5,000 to registered 450,000 citizen groups 1980 to 2000, so it's probably well over 1 million, but that's something of a guess in actuality at the moment. In the U.S., we had 464,000 501c3s in 1990, and it was 1.1 million 4 years ago. Slovakia, 10 or 11, when the wall came down, 10,200 9 years later, officially registered. I've given you the figures that we're growing jobs at roughly 3 times the rate of the rest of the world in the advanced economies, where you have enough statistics to be able to tell. Now, beyond that, we now have large, sophisticated second-generation groups. UNICEF Grameen is tied for 3rd place in Bangladesh as for the biggest organization outside government. The first is Fazli Abed's BRAC, which is 4 times bigger than the biggest business in Bangladesh, not including his employees in Afghanistan, India, and Africa. So this is a very different world. Now, another thing that's changed is we've gone from local to national, and now you can see things moving out at the global level. I think one of the reasons Yunus has just won the Nobel Prize is that he is one of the very first people to take a social innovation and market it intentionally, consciously, and brilliantly for almost 20 years. He put microcredit on the map. He made everyone pay attention to it. He recruited great people like Sam Daly Harris of Results to organize a private, not UN-run, global summit on microcredit. Very interesting pattern if you look at it. Well, this is, we have an international criminal court now because 2,000 citizen groups got together and defeated the nation states who didn't want it. And we now have it. And the implications of that are, it's very moving when you think about it. You and I and every other human being on the planet, for the first time ever, are citizens in something bigger than the nation states. Now, it's small, but under certain circumstances, you have a right to go to the international court and be heard. And it's a sovereign entity that does not require the permission of the nation states. The nation states have still got a number of things that they act, they can preempt it. But once you have this first step, citizen groups all across the world, the competitive dynamic among citizen groups is going to expand it. The countries that aren't on board are going to be forced one by one. People are going to push their own issue to be on the agenda. So what issue is going to be next? You could decide that. It's clear that this dynamic is going to be I think it's the competitive dynamic amongst the citizen sector that is really going to drive globalization in the next phase. You can't stop it. We can't solve our problems at the national level. Almost all major problems need to have a global component to be solved. How can you solve the insecurity of financial markets? Committees of national regulators are clearly failing. They haven't done a thing. What about the environment and so on? It's clear that we have to do that. Well, so when you have a competitive dynamic and the field is moving and figuring out how to work together, someone is going to wake up and figure out what the next step for the environment at the global level is and going to make it happen, and their competitors are going to have to copy. And because the women and human rights have been ahead and have done a great job, eventually the environment will catch up because someone will say, well, they do it, maybe we can do it. That's a really powerful dynamic.